2024, we tried. 2025, we doing. You feel me? Today is December 31st, 2024, as we rolling into this new year. I just wanted to make this video to kind of look back over the year. You know, we all like start the year off and we be having all these goals and things that we want to set out to accomplish for ourselves. And the biggest thing for me is I tried all year and I'm satisfied with that. Like, I'm satisfied with the act of just like, everything I set out to say I was gonna do or like pursue or get after, I did it. And I feel good about that going into 2025. I'm just like, 2024, we tried. 2025, we doing. You feel me? That's where my head at right now. It's like 2025 is just all about doing. Like, we're not even trying no more. We just scaling it, taking it to the next level and just doing more of it. And yeah, so I'm gonna kind of just like recap my year in this video. And it's kind of like more so even for myself. I haven't put out a video all December, which I don't even feel bad about, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I told myself in December, like what direction do I want to go in 2025 when it comes to like just putting out content, just my approach with a lot of stuff. So I kind of just took a step back, and it's funny, right? I had a conversation with somebody a couple of days ago and they were talking about like looking for people for inspiration. And I was just thinking about myself and I was like, bro, I really inspire myself. Like, that doesn't mean that there aren't other individuals that inspire me, but I look to myself for inspiration. Because I feel like if you look back, like, over your journey, if you're somebody that's actually, like, actively pursuing something and you going hard after it and you, like, beating odds, and you may come from a place to where, like, it's just a lot of things in the way of you getting to where you're going, like, that's inspiring. So me just looking back over this year at a lot of the things that I did and was able to accomplish, a lot of places I was able to go, I told myself 2025, I was like, I want to hone in on my content more and just like press out a lot more of it. And I had to ask myself, like, what do I want my content to look like? And you could kind of get too caught up into like all the like planning and wanting it to be perfect. And that'll paralyze you to where you can't do nothing. And you don't put out no content. You don't even know where to start to create. You're not even pulling out the camera to record yourself. And that's the worst place to be in, because this not supposed to feel like that, right? This supposed to feel freeing. This supposed to feel fun. You just supposed to be doing your thing and just put it in the camera lens on it. So for me, my biggest goal, like going into 2025, I feel like the content I put out in 2024, it was good. I just needed more of it. And now that like I found my way, and like how I want certain things to look, like what's my thing, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to like Instagram and posting consistently, like what's my thing? Because everybody got their own thing. What worked for this person may not work for this person, may not work for me. And you just kind of got to find your way. So I feel like 2024, that's what I did. And I was able to find my way. And 2025 is just about like, okay, how can I fine tune some of those things? It may not necessarily be like, oh, I need to go away from all those things. I probably just need to fine tune those things. What does it look like adding a little more taste to them? Like, what does it look like scaling it to where, okay, how can you put out a lot more of them? And then when it comes to like, okay, you want to put out a lot more and be more consistent, you kind of got to like remove all, like as much restriction as you can, resistance. Meaning that like, if your idea is like, all right, I want to be consistent with my content, but you need all these other moving parts, it's going to be hard to be consistent. And I'm saying this right now, but this like what I've been working through in December is like, nah, Huey, you're gonna have to like eliminate a lot of these other things that may be needed to be consistent, and just figure out what can you do that's manageable so you can actually reach your goal this year. Because my goal this year is not a numbers thing. My goal in 2025, stepping into the new year, is I want to put out 100 pieces of content. Like when it comes to Instagram, it's like, all right, 100 posts. And the only way to put out 100 posts, you can't need a cameraman, you can't need this location, you can't need this aesthetic, you can't need all these things. They gotta be able to be simplified so you can be consistent. So that's where my thought process been as we go into the new year. But yeah, y'all, we doing in 2025. We're not trying it. We've been trying in the past. Oh, we just doing now. So yeah, I just kind of want to look over my year just from start to finish. One thing my bro told me, which is the thing I'm the proudest of, I'm completely detached from that fear of like social media, Cause it could be overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? Like when you about to like post certain things and like it could be a fear of how people gonna look at me. I'm actually trying now, it's looking like I'm trying. All the fear that could come with that, how people gonna perceive it, if people gonna like it, how they gonna respond to it. All that could get in the way and have you like with the most anxiety. And I've been there before. In 2024, my whole thing was like next. Every time I post, I just close my phone and next. Like, I'm not even checking it to see what the analytics, like, nah, I just needed to work that muscle of posting and just continue to go, just having that. So if you somebody that's like stepping into that and you 2025, you want to be consistent with your stuff, that'll be like my offering to you is just like have a mindset of like next. The longer period that you're able to have that mindset of like next, you'll be able to like remove that fear and like detach yourself from it. And then you'll get on the other side of like where I'm at right now, and it's like, oh, let's do 100 this year, you know? Like, so that's where I'm at. But yeah, let's look over the year. I kind of found my own style of how I wanted to post, which I felt really cool about. I took a lot of trips this year. Paris was a big highlight of my year this year. I went to Paris for the first time during the summer for Paris Fashion Week. And, you know, I made a video about this recently about like these cultural moments that be happening in these different places and how like a lot of times you just gotta go just so you can see that it's possible. And that was the biggest thing for me. Like I went to Paris by myself, didn't know nobody. My first time really out of the country outside of just like going to Mexico. So that was a big deal. And a lot of people wouldn't do that. And, you know, some of my homies was telling me like, that's like, I'm crazy for that. But I was just like, you know, two things. One is gonna force me to get out of my comfort zone because I know I'm on this camera and I'm talking, but I don't really like talking. I don't really necessarily initiate conversations, or I'm not the person that's gonna go and start talking to the person first, introducing myself. Like it's always vice versa to me. Like I'm always kind of like gravitating and people like come to me. I knew that I was going to another country. I'm going to Paris. I'm like, this is gonna force me to get out of my comfort zone. If I want to have a good time and enjoy my experience and be at the right places, I'm gonna have to get uncomfortable. And that was me challenging myself. That was a big deal for me, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go. And the other reason was just to go see if it was possible. Paris is the highest level when it comes to fashion. Like Fashion Week, it's the highest level. So if I am who I say I am, and I believe I'm who I am, and I'm gonna do the things that I say I'm set out to do, let's go see. Let's go to the major leagues and see if you really that. And what happened when I went out there, I realized it was confirmation like, oh bro, yeah, you really that. Like you really that. I'm captivating people. People stopping me. I'm garnering so much attention. Like I'm pulling people, you know what I'm saying, with not actually trying. And you know, some of the spaces that I was able to step into was like I'm standing out in these rooms, and a lot of people who I even being honest and transparent that I look towards is like, oh, I respect this person in this lane. I respect this person in this lane. Now these people are my peers. You know what I'm saying? Like you go from like watching people on the internet and seeing them do their thing and like having these big brands and all of this and finding all this success. You have admiration for it, and then you become these people's peers now. That's a big deal. And you know, things like that happened to me in 1 year. And yeah, it's just all confirmation, but you can't get that from being at home scrolling on social media. You're gonna have to go out there and feel the energy and step into that space to see like, oh, am I really that? So Paris was just, I built so many relationships out there that I still have to this day, that putting time into and like putting effort into and nurturing those relationships. And you know, that felt really good. Like Paris kind of was the start of a lot of things. After Paris, I don't necessarily want to skip over my drops, but my first drop of the year for No One's Ordinary was the jersey. And that felt good because it was like super foundational. All right, I was away for a period of time and I was getting back into it. And me wanting to get back into it, I'm like, okay, let me do something foundational that kind of speak to like, it just made sense, right? Like you kind of getting started, it's like a new beginning. So let's do something foundational. So even just designing that jersey, something that spoke to like a specific moment and like in my life and where I pulled like inspiration from that, like that was great. And you know, it was a really good response to that. And it's funny because I went from having like a lot of success to like life happening, and I had to get off of the internet for almost 2 years, 16 months, and not drop anything for the brand, not do anything for the brand, and then to come back out and put this first thing out and have the biggest response I ever had on an opening day. Like, it was a blessing. It was just God. And, we just building from there. But, we always want stuff to be perfect. And one thing that I've learned in my journey is you have to you have to actually act. You can't be sitting at home and just waiting for like the perfect moment and like, okay, I need to get this and I need to get that going. I need to get this. Like, it's a Lil Wayne thing he said in like one of his songs that kind of used it. It was like,
that's what they doing, Cameron. They acting like these singers, man. I ain't going to the studio till I got a situation, a subject. I need a beat. I need a producer. Who gonna be on the hook? Man, what is you doing? Go in the studio with fucking clips, ammo.
That's my same approach. And this is like, man, if you want to get data, if you want to learn and evolve and grow, you gotta actually put stuff out. So now you can know like, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Oh, that worked. Let's lean into that a little more, do more of that. You can't get them type of answers and like evolve what you're doing if you don't put nothing out. I'm gonna just talk like about my trips. I went to New York in September. That was Fashion Week in New York. And one thing I will say, if you watching this and you somebody who you curious about like going to some of these weekends, these fashion weekends or whatever it is, I'ma always push you to go. Whether you know why you going or not, I'm gonna push you to go just cause if you curious, lean into that. Because within that curiosity, you'll figure it out. So much good comes from being curious. From my experience, going to Paris Fashion Week, highest level, right? The same people that are here, they gonna be in New York in September, which they gonna be in Paris again in January. Like, you gotta pop out. I'm running into a lot of the same people. They in this space, and it's like, oh, hey, I remember seeing you in Paris. So like, moments like that, right? You can't get those from being at home. But yeah, I had another drop, which I was really excited about, and I'm really proud of as well. How we rolled it out, just having a plan. We actually went to New York and shot it in New York during Fashion Week. That was like a moment. It garnered so much like in-person interaction and like attention in real life. And then just to like transfer that over to the internet, that was cool. And it was an experience. And it was like just getting uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? Like just going against the grain and like having an idea and just acting on it. Like, you can't really get caught up in the results so much. Like, the results gonna come if it's good and like you staying at it and you put in the work. The results inevitable, right? But what the real satisfaction gotta be in, you gotta find fulfillment in, is just doing it, like having that idea and just doing it. But yeah, after that, Complex Con was in November. That was a great experience. And I'm somebody who was an early attender to Complex Con when it first started, 2016, 17 in Long Beach, California, when you had everybody there, like Virgil, all of them. I was going to those, and great experience. My last one was in 2019, Joe Fresh Goods in Chicago. Coming out of that one, I didn't attend another one. Like, COVID came, and I feel like it kind of like got watered down during COVID. I feel like it became like just a marketplace for up-and-coming designers, and it was just about selling product, and it really wasn't about the experience. So I kind of shied away from it, and coming back 2024 is like this big thing. They partnered with Travis Scott. I understand his sensibility, and he got a specific taste level that he not finna just partner with anything if it's not gonna be this great experience. So I was like, oh, this is bringing me back outside. So going to Complex Con and seeing a lot of those same people that were in Paris, and then they were in New York, and then they at this, because it's all the same stuff. Is where it's a place where culture is happening, and if you are a part of culture or plan to be a part of culture, you have to be there. And full circle moment, running into Joe Fresh Goods at Complex Con, because we ran into each other and got a chance to briefly talk in Soho House in Paris, and seeing them at Complex Con, and I go up to him, tell him, he was like, bro, you feel familiar, like, and you be clean, like, and I was telling him, like, yeah, we chopped it up in Paris in Soho House during Fashion Week. And he was like, that you felt so familiar, that makes sense now. So we got a chance to small talk. I told him, I was like, honestly, the last Complex Con I've been to was when you were like the highlight moment in Chicago in 2019. He was like, what brought you back outside for this one? And I, kind of explained what I explained about Travis, and it just felt like it made sense. You here, obviously we all felt the same way. It kind of like brought you back outside. So that was a cool experience, and now these type of people become your peers because they seeing you, they seeing how you carry yourself, and I'm not gonna lie, if you that, people gonna know you that. You're not gonna have to say nothing, like people gonna know. Cause I know when I see somebody and I'm like, oh yeah, buddy like that. Like, oh yeah, she one of them, Just looking back at a lot of the trips that I was able to take, I thank God for them. They led to so much. They were the start to a lot of new relationships that, I'm excited to see where they go. And just genuine relationships, because I'm big on that. I posted this the other day on Threads. I said, like, when I meet people, I don't ask people what they do, and because I also don't care. And I have that approach because I feel like when you meet people and you ask them what they do, you are kind of determining their value based off of what they do. So now you decide how you position them on, okay, can I benefit from this person or can I not? And I just don't rock with that. An example, when I was in Paris, I was standing outside of this show and I was talking to this photographer. I met him. At the time I didn't know he was a photographer. And we was just outside, something happened where something was said and we ended up having a small conversation that probably lasted like 20 minutes. So that's a long time to talk to somebody outside who you don't even know in a whole other country. And he was a local. And we spoke and really connected, and the connection was there and the vibe was there, and the things we talked about, we saw things a similar way. And I was like, yo, let's connect, bro. Like, I got his gram, we followed each other. It wasn't until I got back home and I looked at his page and I was like, oh, he actually is a live photographer. Like, he did a lot of work for Virgil. He did this, that. And I was like, oh, and he seen I had a brand. But it's like, I'm not leading with that, right? And I'm not following you because you a photographer and you did all this work for Virgil. Like, nah. We were able to have a genuine connection. Now I followed you based off of that and I see what you do. But I know y'all get me, because the people that watch my channel, y'all got it. But yeah, man, I didn't want this video to be too long. I just told myself today, I haven't really even been feeling like recording, in December. But I just said, I'm gonna pull out let's just pull out the camera today and let's just record. Like, let's not think and let's just talk. And I'm gonna get it up. But yeah, like, Happy New Year, y'all. Like, I'm excited, man. We going up. Like, if y'all here right now, like, we'll check back in 12 months. I promise you. And I pray that, like, the people that's watching this and you rocking with me, I'm praying for your life to not be the same. Get as uncomfortable as you can this year. Just do what you want to do and just be yourself doing it. That's what I'm on, right? Like, when y'all connecting with me, like, it's hella love. Like, I just want y'all to stand on that. Like, just be yourself at all times and do what you want to do. That's doing the right thing, what you want to do. So, yeah, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. Wishing y'all a safe and blessed New Year. And let's get to it, man. We got work to do.